Topping the news at noon, a man convicted of killing his wife and blowing up his house to cover it all up will learn if he'll be eligible for parole today. Plus, a Marine is found guilty of stabbing a Janesville Marine. How long he'll be behind bars. And President Trump's former lawyer says he's willing to testify that Trump knew about a meeting with Russian officials during the 2016 campaign.
This is News 3 at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 on this Friday afternoon. Let's head over to the Weather Center. Meteorologist Chris Reese has a look at your first alert forecast. Rather refreshing out there this morning.
Still refreshing. A beautiful day that we've had outside. There have been mixes of sun and cloud cover at times, but still no rain to really worry about for us here in this part of the state. Here's a live look outside right now. And actually, we're getting in on one of those periods where the sunshine dominates as opposed to the cloud cover. And the later we go into the afternoon and evening, that's what we're going to see more and more of. Temperatures have just made it to 70 degrees. We spent pretty much the first half of the day all in the 50s and 60s. So we just now made it to 70 here in Madison. Same for Watertown and Mineral Point. And there are still some upper 60s that show up. Juneau and Fond du Lac both at 67 as of now. We'll see highs right around 75 degrees today before we begin to cool things off. 60 degrees by midnight. 50s by the time folks are waking up tomorrow morning. And like I mentioned, back behind the clouds that are moving on out, there is more in the way of sunshine. So once we get through this kind of round of cloud cover that we're seeing, we should see more sunshine into the afternoon. No needs to worry about rain chances. Most of that should be confined over the state of Michigan for today. A beautiful night tonight, and that's going to shape up for a beautiful morning on your Saturday, but there are some rain chances Saturday and into Sunday. They're not the greatest rain chances, but of course, we're going to talk about those coming up in Maine weather.
All right, we'll see you then. Thanks, Chris. Top of the news today, Stephen Pyrus is back in Dane County Court today as a judge decides whether he should be eligible for parole. Pyrus pleaded guilty to first-degree homicide after killing his wife and blowing up his house to cover up the crime last year. According to his plea agreement, he'll spend at least 20 years behind bars. However, a judge could make him eligible for parole after that or sentence him to life without parole. Pyrus will be given the opportunity to address the court at his hearing, and that is scheduled for 1:30. The Marine who stabbed a Janesville Marine on a California base last winter will spend the next 7 years in military prison. Private First Class Raymond Begay stabbed 18-year-old Ethan Barclay Weberfall from Janesville at Camp Pendleton. The Orange County Register reports Begay was convicted of involuntary manslaughter this week. Flags across the state are flying at half-staff today, honoring a Milwaukee police officer killed in the line of duty. Officer Michael Mikowski was killed in a shooting on the city's north side this week. A squad car draped in a black cloth now sits outside the Milwaukee Police Administration building, acting as a memorial. Mikowski was a 17-year veteran of the force and leaves behind a wife and 3 children. Charges against the man who allegedly shot him are still pending. New at noon, one person is dead, another injured following a crash in Greene County early this morning. Sheriff's deputies responded to a single vehicle crash just before 4 o'clock on State Highway 11 at County Road S in Jefferson Township. Officials say a car went into the ditch, then veered across the highway and entered another ditch where it rolled several times. One of the people inside taken to the hospital. Another was found dead at the scene. Deputies say alcohol could have been involved. Madison police are looking for 2 men involved in an armed robbery last night. The robbery happened just before 11 o'clock at a hotel in the 4700 block of Hayes Road. Police say the suspects were armed, one with a gun, the other with a knife, and they took property from 2 other men. Anyone with information asked to call the Madison area Crime Stoppers. President Trump's former lawyer Michael Cohen says he will now cooperate with special counsel Robert Mueller. Cohen says Trump knew ahead of time about a meeting with a Russian lawyer at Trump Tower in June of 2016. That meeting included Donald Trump Jr., Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner, campaign manager Paul Manafort, and the lawyer who promised to bring damaging information about Hillary Clinton. Last year, Trump denied knowing anything about it.
No, I didn't know anything about the meeting. It must have been a very unimportant meeting because I never even heard about it.
In a tweet this morning, the president continued to deny that he knew about the meeting. Trump's current lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, says Cohen doesn't have anything to back up his claims and that Cohen's word isn't good enough. It's also unclear if Mueller will want or even need that information. Overnight, the remains of soldiers killed during the Korean War are being returned to the United States. A U.S. plane flew the remains to Osan Air Base in South Korea, where service members waited to honor the fallen heroes. 55 cases were brought off one by one, but it's unclear how many remains are in each case and how many American troops there are. A ceremony will be held next week in South Korea. Iowa investigators continue to search for a missing college student, but now they say a trail of electronic data could help find her. Millie Tibbetts, a sophomore at the University of Iowa, vanished last month after she went for a run. She was wearing a Fitbit fitness tracker, which police say holds critical information about her movements the day she disappeared.
We're hoping to be able to precisely examine and know where she was, when she was there, the pace she was running, walking, jogging, heart rate, anything that kind of stuff monitors.
Investigators have built a detailed timeline of her movements before she disappeared based on eyewitness accounts, cell phone tower pings, and social media activities, along with Fitbit data. They do not think she returned home that night, but also don't think she ran away. Back in Wisconsin, a Wisconsin oil refinery damaged by an explosion is not expected to get up and running until 2020. Canada-based Husky Energy told investigators yesterday that it'll take at least a year and a half, maybe more, to resume operations at its plant in Superior. At least 13 people were injured in that explosion back in April. It caused $27 million worth of damage. Investigators are still looking into the cause of that explosion. The Cottage Grove Fire Department is warning people of a scam involving Sun Prairie relief efforts. The department says someone is calling around using their name of the caller ID, asking for donations for the Sun Prairie Relief Fund. They say it is not them calling, and they would never solicit donations over the phone. If you would like to donate, you can do so at the Bank of Sun Prairie. And because of a generous donation, Sun Prairie will be better prepared if a gas leak ever happens again. Pick and Save donated $15,000 to the Sun Prairie Fire Department. The money will be used to buy a new gas detection device that uses lasers to help determine if an area is safe from 100 feet away. Firefighters are going to take part in a demonstration of the tool in a couple of weeks. Well, there's more to come on News 3 at noon. Up next, we'll find out what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
We're taking our hot dogs and beans to a whole new level. One that'll make you a very happy camper. It's day 2 of our camping adventure. Yesterday, after a busy day outdoors, we chowed down on some of the best country-style ribs I ever had. Then after dinner, we were so stuffed we ended up taking a hike all around the lake before toasting some marshmallows around the campfire. And after a morning of fishing and not being very successful, we decided it was time for another camping staple, hot dogs and beans, but with a twist, of course. We start out by sauteing a chopped onion in a cast iron skillet, and that can be over a campfire, a grill, or even a portable burner. Once they're golden, we toss in some hot dogs that we've cut up, along with a couple cans of baked beans and a bit of ketchup and mustard. After this simmers for a bit and all the flavors come together, we top it off with some corn chips, which adds a welcome crunch. There you have it, an all-in-one skillet favorite that's so filling and comforting, it's perfect after a busy day of camping. So here's what I suggest. Go online and get the recipe for what we call amazing hot dog and bean skillet, because it's truly that. Let me tell you, it may sound basic, yet it's anything but. I'm Howard from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a rustic yet satisfying way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, Howard, thank you. Expected to be another beautiful day today, but there could be some rain over the weekend. Meteorologist Chris Reese is back next with a look at your weekend forecast, so stay with us. Our Call for Action phone bank is open right now, ready to take on your consumer issues. You can call our hotline. Volunteers will help you with any consumer complaints. The number is 608-270-2833. The service is open every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday between 11 and 1. The U.S. economy is growing at its fastest pace in almost 4 years. And if you're looking for some free chicken tenders today, well, Wendy's has you covered. Diane King Hall breaks it all down in today's Money Watch report.
The U.S. economy grew at the fastest pace in almost 4 years. According to the Commerce Department, GDP rose 4.1% during the second quarter. The economy expanded as consumers ramped up spending and farmers rushed shipments of soybeans to China to beat the clock on new trade tariffs. The American Civil Liberties Union put Amazon's facial recognition technology to the test and says it incorrectly identified 28 lawmakers as arrested individuals. The ACLU says the software disproportionately misidentified people of color when lawmakers were compared to a database of mugshots. Amazon claims the proper settings were not used during the test. Meanwhile, shares of Twitter dropped on news that it's losing users. The social network says it had 335 million users worldwide during the second quarter. That's down 1 million. The drop follows a purge of its platform when Twitter cracked down on fake accounts. Twitter's sharp decline in share price comes a day after a historic plummet at rival Facebook. And if you want to snag some freebies for National Chicken Tender Day, Wendy says you have to know the secret password. The fast food chain is giving away free 2-piece chicken tenders all day if you can tell the cashier a secret code at checkout. The passcode is expected to be revealed on Twitter today. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Diane King Hall.
All right, Diane, thank you. The Dow Industrial is down 30 points at the noon hour. They're at 25,469 or 96. That is the NASDAQ Composite Index, down 77. Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee out of the radio barn on this Friday. So here are your farm numbers. And Pam will be back with us on Monday. Chris is here now. The weekend is upon us.
And the
eyes on the
weekend
weather.
looks fantastic. There are some rain chances. We'll talk about them. They're not all that impressive. But today has been a fantastic day as well. If you haven't had the chance to get outside, we've seen a mix of sun and clouds at times. Here's a live look at the Edgewater Sky Cam downtown, and you really kind of see what I'm talking about. Just one of those splendid, partly cloudy kind of days. Now, in the past few minutes, we finally warmed up to 70 degrees. We spent a better part of the day with these temperatures well into the 60s, but we've made it to 70 now. Dew point still on the low side of the spectrum at 53 as of now. Watertown and Watoma now, Watertown at 71, Watoma now at 70. We still have Juneau at 67, same with Fond du Lac. So those are some of those few places that do remain into the 60s as of now. I think we'll all see the 70s as we get you farther into the afternoon. We should top out right around 75 for us here in Madison before cooling down as we take you into the late evening period towards overnight. Eventually, overnight, we're going to see those temperatures into the 50s, matching about where our dew points are as of now. A good little science forecasting tip for you. The dew points at midday on a day where the weather isn't changing is usually a good indicator of where your overnight lows are going to be. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some of those overnight lows, especially north of here, into the 40s later on. We still have those winds coming in out of the north and west at about 8 miles per hour for us here, or 6 miles per hour for us here in Madison. A little bit stronger as you work your way back towards the north and west, but it's that dry northwesterly wind that's really keeping our dew points low and keeping our temperatures on the cooler side. We have seen some clouds develop as we've gone throughout the day, but we're not worried about any kind of rainfall coming out of these. Here's a live look at that cloud cover right now, but no shower activity over Madison. That's all, or over Wisconsin, really. That's all going to be confined through parts of Michigan. We do have a region of high pressure that's very slow moving. That region of high pressure is going to be controlled pretty much throughout the entire weekend. In fact, that cold front that came through will actually stall out and kind of bounce back and forth across the mid-south, and that's going to keep this region of high pressure in control for us. The thing is, with that northwesterly flow, we're still getting in on some chances for some showers here and there. So as you go through Saturday, we can't rule out that possibility of an isolated shower, but that's mainly going to be confined towards the north woods with clearing skies Saturday night and into your Sunday. A better chance for rain comes in for us here in Madison on Sunday. That's why your grill cast only has 3 grills for your Sunday. Again, not a washout, but if you're going to choose a day to grill this week, Saturday is by far the best day to do so. Our temperature roller coaster tries to level out just a little bit. Temperatures all a couple degrees below average as we go through the next 10 days. It's about how things should shape up for this time of the year. This afternoon, 75 degrees, partly sunny and very pleasant as you are stepping outside. So that is the fantastic news. Here's the bad news. There's a chance of rain just about every day, especially as we get you towards next week. Starting on Sunday, going all the way through Thursday, that chance of rain does exist, but again, it's not a washout kind of a deal. It's one of those things where every afternoon we can't rule out the chance of some isolated showers just kind of popping up here or there. And then, of course, really, though, we do stay cool with those chances for rain. But again, don't cancel any outdoor plans this week. Just stay tuned to us every day with the weather, and we'll give you the timing on those.
And the longest lunar eclipse of the century has just begun.
That is beginning. The thing is, we don't get to see it here, unfortunately.
You can go online and watch it, though.
Yep, you can.
Thank you, Chris. There's more to come on News 3 at noon. Up next, a New York City-based company is giving new life to the millions of freight containers transporting cargo around the world. We'll be back. There are about 20 million freight containers transporting cargo all around the world, but a New York company hopes to turn them into something else once they've completed their task. John Schumo takes a look.
Sometimes ideas develop when you think inside the box.
You're standing in a restaurant and a bar.
Paul Galvin is the founder of SG Blocks. The company transforms shipping containers into homes and businesses. It's completed projects in all 50 states, a Starbucks in Salt Lake City, this Bear Burger restaurant in Long Island, New York. A 23,000 square foot community center is planned for Los Angeles. Galvin says the structures are safe, strong, and sustainable, and cost 30 to 50% less than traditional building methods.
Anybody involved in construction, either personally or professionally, knows the outrageous prices being charged by general contractors in every major city in the United States.
A standard shipping container is 8 feet wide and either 20 or 40 feet long. Architects love the design flexibility. If you want a second floor, you stack it. If you want a window, you just cut it out. The frames are made of steel designed to weather the elements. They can be stacked 9 high. Do you think this is going to be the future of construction on some level?
Oh, absolutely.
Mark Vecchiarelli owns L Woodworking. His team is helping to turn these 4 containers into a cocktail bar and restaurant.
The advantage of these containers is that they will last a lifetime.
This building methodology, modular prefabricated construction, is what's going to cure the housing crisis in America.
You're that optimistic?
I am that confident.
A typical project takes 6 weeks to build and just hours to install. John Schumo, CBS News, Staten Island, New York.
There you go. It might catch on.
It might catch on. You never know. I'm just concerned about the weather. How will that impact those if you have a strong storm come through?
I don't know.
Research for me to find out.
There you go.
That's
Look
what I
into
do
that
in
for
my
us.
spare time when I'm not tracking storms. We don't have any to worry about this weekend. 75 this afternoon, partly sunny and pleasant temperatures, finally relaxing a little bit.
All right, looking good. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here at 4 o'clock. Have a great afternoon.